I first want to answer a couple of questions that people have had about a couple of votes that my friend Justin Amash and Thomas Massey and I had. One was on H.R. 4742, and it's described to authorize the National Science Foundation to support entrepreneurial programs for women. And, since my wife and I been blessed with three beautiful daughters inside and out, all three of them absolutely brilliant. These type of things are important to me. But I note that it says studies have shown that technology and commercialization ventures are successful when women are in top management positions. And it also puts into law that the requirement that under the Science and Engineering Equal Opportunities Act, it's required that the National Science Foundation encourage its entrepreneurial programs to recruit and support women to extend their focus beyond the laboratory and into the commercial world. Now, it just seems like, and I know these are incredibly well-intended, both 4742, 4745, very, very well-intended. Wonderful people put them forward. I understand that. But just from my experience and from common sense I hear as I get all over East Texas, it just seems like Washington is always a step behind, or the old saying, a day late and a dollar short. Now we're $19 trillion short, but we want to take time from our $19 trillion in debt to demand that the National Science Foundation discriminate based on gender. There may be some young boy needs encouragement from a tough family situation, but this program is designed to discriminate against that young poverty-stricken boy and to encourage the girl. Forget the boy, encourage the girl. And it just seems that if we're ever going to get to the dream of Martin Luther King Jr., that he spoke, just down the mall, he wanted people to be judged by the content of their character and not by the color of their skin. And I know after race has been an issue that needed attention, then gender appropriately got attention, because the whole Constitution of the United States, when it's properly read verbatim, it means men, women, race, creed, color, national origin, gender, those things are not supposed to matter. And it just seems like when we come in and we say, well, it's important that for a while we discriminate, we end up getting behind, and then probably 25 years from now, boys are going to have fallen behind in numbers, and we're going to need to come in and say, actually, when we passed that bill forcing encouragement of girls and not encouraging little boys, we were getting behind the eight ball. We didn't see that we were going to be leaving little boys in the ditch, and now we need to start doing programs to encourage little boys. We're always going to be behind until we get around to saying from this House floor, we don't care where you're from. We don't care what your gender is. We don't care what you look like. You may be as homely as Abraham Lincoln. We don't care what you look like. We don't care what your color, your hair, or lack of hair. We don't care. We want you not to have an equal outcome, but to have an equal opportunity to excel. And then let the best person do the best job and excel. That's what's made free market systems work so well. And I was reminded, so I checked out a lady that's known as Madame Curie, Marie Sklodowska Curie, Madame Curie, and it says she was born in Warsaw, then in the Kingdom of Poland. Her achievements included the development of the theory of radioactive isotopes and the discovery of two elements, polonium and radium. Under her direction, the world's first studies were conducted into the treatment of neoplasms using radioactive isotopes. She founded the Curie Institutes in Paris and Warsaw. She won the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in radiation. And so as I think about, it's got to be millions and millions of lives that this brilliant woman, Madame Curie, has saved because of her work. And she died early at 66 because of her work in the laboratory. She had aplastic anemia, apparently, from her work with radioactive isotopes. But the lives that woman saved by her work in the laboratory. However, if our Bill 4742 had been in law back in Poland or France as she tried to move forward, she would have, the Science Foundation there would have been required to tell Madame Curie, you know what, you're pretty good in the laboratory, but under this law, from the wisdom of Congress, we're supposed to tell you to go into commercial enterprise, make a whole bunch more money, because you're better off not being in the laboratory, but being out in the commercial world, because you'll be a better business person than men. You need to get out there. But I thank God there wasn't a program like this that distracted her, that this brilliant, caring woman basically gave her life to save many, many millions by the phenomenal work she did in the laboratory. But according to the bill that we passed today, we're requiring the Science Foundation to encourage entrepreneurial programs to recruit and support women to extend their focus beyond the laboratory and into the commercial world. Thank God that's not what Madame Curie did.